blurb and synopsis. This is something that many authors don't, or many newbie writers don't really pay attention to, and this is something that is not making you get the views. For a contract, it doesn't determine your contract. Your blurb or your synopsis does not determine your contract. It's your first 5 keyword and your outline that determines if these platforms will give you a contract. If you write it well, then they will give you a contract. But your blurb and your synopsis, it was determine you're going to get views on your book. I repeat, your blurb and your synopsis, if not written well, you will lose views, you will lose potential readers. I will explain that. Your blurb is the shorter summary of your book, while your synopsis is the longer summary of your entire book. I did not say you're writing a blurb, you should not write 1000 words. No. 200 to 300 words is okay maximum for a blurb or for a synopsis of a story. This is just the summary of all everything that will happen in your story, and many people don't know how to write it. Some newbie writers, they will say they are writing blurb, they are writing synopsis, and at the end of the day they will tell you everything that will happen in the story. You're telling your readers everything that happened in your story, and you want them to read the story. You keep some now. Don't tell us everything. Introduce it, give us some expo, and stop there. Give us some hints, make us crave for it, make us crave to say, let me check it out, let me start with chapter 1, let me read what's this person saying. Do you get me? So if you're writing your blurb, think like your reader. You're not just a writer, you're both a writer and a reader. Because if it doesn't make sense to them, if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's not going to make sense to your readers. Understand this. It took me several mentorships from top coaches to understand this, and I'm telling you for free. You cannot say you want to get views on your book and you do not know how to write a blurb and a synopsis. They are both the same thing, but blurb is shorter. What human beings or what Nigerian authors call about the book. I remember those time you were in elementary school, or probably in junior high school, which is GS1 to 3. People do all these short stories, short story reading, that they will tell you buy your storybook so you can read, join the class and read. You find out that most times, I remember that time when me and my mom is going to the market, I'll be like, Mom, please, I need this storybook. And most of the times when I want to go and pick storybooks I want to read, I make sure that I turn to the about the book to get a clue of what that story would be like. If it's not enticing to me, I will not buy it. The same thing goes to your story. Now you have written the first 5 keywords, you've gotten the contract. If a new reader comes to read your book, the first thing they're going to read is your synopsis or your blurb that tells them what your story is all about. If you don't know your onion there, they will not read your book. You have lost a viewer, you have lost the views. So you need to understand the tips and trick in writing a good blurb and a synopsis. You can pick one. I'm going to show you practical example with my own blurb I have written. Alright, let's run down through it. This is the blurb of one of my story, The Forbidden Fate of a Mermaid and a CEO. I'm going to read the blurb for you. In the depths of love, choice and betrayal, Bianca, a mermaid, and Bruno, a human, find true affection in the most contradicting place, the ocean and the land. Meet Bianca, a mermaid who had her own fears and obstacles that wanted her down. How about when she gets entangled with Bruno, the CEO, and their relationship takes a shape? Meanwhile, Bruno was betrothed to Kim, only to end up as a game of secrets, betrayal, and alliances between Carl, his mother, Vashti, Kim's best friend, Vera, his personal assistant, and the mermaids. What if you were asked? Now imagine what I incorporated in my blog / my synopsis. In another paragraph I wrote, what if you were asked to choose between power, wealth, and love? Which would you go for? Especially when it comes with its ups and downs, betrayal, alliances, secrets upon secrets that all raise their ugly head to prevent you from getting your happily ever after with that one person you truly love. Find out. This is what many newbie writers miss. Your call to action. Find out what happens to Bruno's company and Bianca's territory as the mermaid queen in the ocean. Who will forfeit what? For who? Why? And how will it happen? This is a good blog / synopsis. Imagine someone coming to your story for the first time and read this straight up to your chapter 1. They will look for your chapter 1 and start reading because you nailed it. You understand it. Do you get me? So you need to be able to, first of all, let me analyze it now. Start with an emotional paragraph. Your first line of your blog or synopsis should be highly emotional and relatable. E.g., in the depth of love, choice, and betrayal, depending on the story you're writing. Your readers will be like, wow, I can actually relate to love. I can actually relate to choice. Yeah, people betray people. This is relatable. And this is emotional. In the depth of love. Wow, this is so emotional. Bianca, a mermaid. Now introduce your male lead. Sorry, if it's a female lead as the protagonist, introduce her and introduce whoever is the side protagonist or whatever. If it's just her, introduce her, then tell us more things about her. She's a mermaid, but she finds true affection in the most contradicting place, the ocean and the land. Do you see it now? I'm not giving everything about my story for free. I'm raising some stakes, some unanswered questions. Now look at another question I also threw in my blurb and synopsis. I said, how about when she gets entangled with Bruno, the CEO, and their relationship takes a shape in the ocean and the land? Imagine. That alone will spike up something in your reader's mind. You'll be like, wow, I need to check out the story. So be creative. Now another one again, I also said in the next paragraph, I said, meanwhile Bruno was betrothed. Now you can see something now. You can see a very good obstacle that I now linked in. I did not tell my readers everything for free. I just introduced that in this story about to read, he was betrothed to somebody, but at the end of the day it ended up as a secret betrayal and alliances between this person and this. You might not mention the person. Do you understand me? Then I now ask them, this is something people don't really get in your blog and your synopsis. That's why you don't get the views. You'll be like, many of my students will be like, before they join my community, they'll be like, they are not getting views on their stories. You're getting it wrong in your blog and your synopsis. Another paragraph I also wrote down here, I said, what if you were asked to choose between power? CEO has to do with power, business, wealth, and true love. Which would you go for? Now, this is something that will creep into your reader's mind. They'll be like, wow, I've not even started the story and this author is already asking me this kind of question. I need to check out the story. Be smart. So think of a question you can leave unanswered for your readers to answer it. In your blog, put it in your synopsis, put it in your blog. I swear to God, your views will skyrocket. Don't just stop there. End with a call to action. People need an extra push to read your story. Don't just tell them it's about so person, they find love, they find happiness, this one happened, but along the line something happened, something happened, full stop. Make sure you end with a call to action. People procrastinate a lot. People need this extra push to take action. That's why you need to tell them, find out. Don't miss it in your blog or your synopsis when you're drafting it. You tell them find out because you want them to read it. If you don't tell them find out, they will stop there. Most human beings will stop there and scroll through your story. But if you tell them find out, it's an extra push. You're giving them an assignment. Find out what happens to Bruno's company as the CEO and Bianca's territory as a mermaid. Will she forfeit? Now look at the questions I left for them to answer. Who will forfeit who? Who will forfeit what? Because one has to give one something for the other. Is that Bianca will have to come out as a maybe change into a human being or whatever to go on land and have time with her lover, or Bruno will have to forfeit his company and come down to the ocean, inside the ocean, to spend time with his lover. And this my story is one of my best selling books like right now because I nailed it. It was an inspiration. You get? So now what am I trying to say? You should be able to leave some questions unanswered for your readers to answer in your blurb and synopsis. Telling them who will forfeit who for what is a very good way of leaving question unanswered. Why would the person do it? And how will it happen? Find out. Simple. You will see your views skyrocket beyond your imagination. Don't forget, start with an emotional paragraph, an emotional sentence. Introduce who your character is and the role they'll be playing. Talk about a brief intro of the obstacle they will have. Not just one obstacle. Remember, every story has several obstacles, but just introduce them, give us some teaser. Then you ask a question that will you allow your readers to answer, and you end with a call to action. That is all for blurb/synopsis.